friends. This is Wheezy from the What is True podcast. Hope everyone is doing rather exquisite. This is a small clip, and if you fancy listening to the entire episode, please visit the link tree below. This is due to the heavy censorship on this particular platform, so I hope you guys understand and hope to catch you on these other platforms. Much love. What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hope everyone is doing rather exquisite. I am joined by my man, the myth, legend himself, Mr. Captain Blackbeard, him goddamn self, Mr. Seven Seas. What's up, bud?
How's it going, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm stoked for this. I know it's going to be fire. Just like each and every time we get together, man. Every time we smack down some truth bombs. And today, in association with truth bombs, we will be discussing nukes.
One of the untruth bombs, if you will.
Oh yeah, man. And then before we get started, I did have a show scheduled with Ryan Christian of The Last American Vagabond. He had a slight headache, migraine, and he asked if we could do it tomorrow instead. And so the show is still on, but it will be tomorrow, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern for anyone interested. But yeah, man, we planned on having the show a couple weeks back, and it's a subject that doesn't really get broached a lot, but you and I have many similar views on many things, including video games. But it kind of falls in line with a lot of the shit that you and I talk about being fake and gay, man. Whether it's moon landings, presidential assassination attempts,
9/11,
and so on and so forth. Everything, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So when did you start exploring the whole topic of nukes?
When I look at like the last year that I kind of like dove headfirst into doing this, probably started July of last year. So I've been doing it a little over a year as far as like mapping stuff out, making webs, doing deep dives into stuff. And I think it was in September where I saw somebody had posted something about like nukes aren't real. And I was like, that seems like an interesting rabbit hole to go down. So I started looking into things like the oleanders there and the temperatures of the bombs there and stuff. Oh, thank you for the 10, Colin. Thank you for that. Like looking into the bombs, like the proposed temperatures as opposed to like the destruction there, the fact that there was like a Jesuit church that was perfectly fine from the bombings and stuff like that, and I was like, something doesn't add up. And then I started looking into some of the guys that were associated, and you know that was like about a year after Oppenheimer had come out, I think. And so you know I remembered some of the names and started looking into them, and I was like, man, none of this adds up at all. It reminded me of the moon landing, where like the second you start asking questions or using logic and shit, it just all falls apart.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, that's it's funny. That's pretty much what Ryan Christian's always talking about. Question everything. That's really his motto, his thing, and that's really what we should all be doing. Questioning everything. Don't accept anything at face value. Don't accept what I say at face value. Don't accept what Seven says at face value. Research it yourself. Come to your own goddamn conclusions. And that's important to do, especially in this day and age when we're constantly getting bombarded with a bunch of bullshit, man. And especially with AI, man. Did you see that video of that Ghislaine Maxwell alleged video from prison?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick.
All right.
And it's AI, and it looks pretty fucking real, man. So let me see if I can pull it up here. I was like, no fucking way, because people had been talking about that. Ghislaine had been talking from prison and talking to the Trump attorneys and shit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. So this is video allegedly of Ghislaine Maxwell from prison with the green screen in the background as normal prisoners do interviews. All right, so let's listen to this.
President Trump did nothing, at least in my presence, that would be cause for concern. He was always a perfect gentleman, a elegant dancer, a gifted poet. He spoke Cantonese fluently. At one point, he threw a football 300 yards and it somehow boomeranged back to him. Saw a grizzly bear charge him and he delivered such a withering barb that it retreated in shame. One night, Donald performed an emergency tracheotomy on Bill Gates, saving his life. He did a chiropractic adjustment on Stephen Hawking, and Professor Hawking was able to skip all the way home. The point is, the man is a saint, and I would like to not be in prison.
Insane.
So, I mean, this is where we're at with AI. I mean, if you seen her cadence and everything, because I think what happened was that's a alleged real prison interview that Ghislaine Maxwell did in the past.
Yeah.
But obviously they changed around the vocabulary and so on and so forth, but it matches the cadence. I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy. And and it's all in jest, that was all in joke. But what about the shit that gets passed off as real?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Like when I look back at a year ago when, they were making like the videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti and it was all shitty. And now we're looking at like some of the AI models just in 1 year. I mean, imagine where we're going to be a year from now or 5 years from now. And then I think about how, I don't want to use an insulting word, but for lack of a better term, stupid, the world is, that it's going to convince so many people. I mean, they could convince people of like natural disasters happening or a war breaking out or whatever that looks like some sort of war game scenario. And I don't know, man. Slippery slope, in my opinion. I think we just shut it all down now.
Yeah. The problem is I think we've already crossed that point of no return probably some time ago already. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like what we've been talking about, the technocratic state, and it's got to roll with it. Roll with the punches, man. There's really not much we can do. And it's not being black-pilled, as some people like to say. It's just facing reality.
Yeah.
I think believing that we can do something to reverse course is, unfortunately, I think it's fantasy. I don't. It's like believing in Santa Claus is real type of shit. So you just got to know how to roll with the punches, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where me and you were just kind of chatting about this right before we went live, but the whole, they're adding digital ID to everything now, and it's like, I don't want to jive with that, but I have kind of already like taken the dive, given my ID to like YouTube and Rumble and shit like that, like before I ever even looked into technocracy. And it's like, well, I can't ungive them my credentials, they have them. What do I do at this point, that they're asking my viewers to now add their ID? I don't know. I can say don't do it. Find workarounds, use third-party applications or sources or something. They're doing the same thing with Spotify and video games and everything, it seems like.
Yeah, that's the shitty thing. So I once was on YouTube, got axed. I have another channel, but I just mostly upload clips and whatnot. And so I've been telling people, follow me on Spotify, give me those 5-star reviews. Please, if you enjoy the show. If you hate it, just leave quietly. Don't give me a 1-star.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, fuck, man. I don't even know, man. It just seems like it's getting shittier and shittier. To have shows like the ones you and I do, where, and I get that quite a bit from people, man. Like, God, it's refreshing to hear people that have the same outlook on a lot of takes, people that can be real, not this phony generated shit, man. I often think about like the normie days when I used to watch like Dateline NBC, whatever, 60 Minutes type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be captivated by that shit. It was the brainwashing happening. Now, as someone that doesn't believe any of that mainstream bullshit, I look at him like, that's a fucking actor. That's an actor. Check out the interest on this motherfucker. He's tied to this. He's connected to that. I don't trust anything these motherfuckers say. It seems so fucking fake.
Yeah.
And the thing is, little shows like what we do, I mean, we say we have little shows because we don't have the masses of millions, we don't have audiences of millions like these other characters or hundreds of thousands of followers and shit behind us. We are fucking small.
Yeah.
And it's just getting harder to even let our voices out. You know what I mean? And I think that's all by design.
Yeah, absolutely. I think instead of just going the direct route of like debanking or deplatforming, I think what they're just doing is allowing us to operate in the space and then drowning us out completely, whether it's through the algorithms or saturation of the market or whatever that looks like.
Yeah. So we just have to roll with the punches, and it's it sucks. But if you want to follow me on podcast platforms, you can still do on Spotify. But if I get removed or some more bullshit happens, please download Podcast Addict. That is a podcast player that's done by what's his first name? Curry. Something Curry. Adam Curry, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He started that podcasting for free speech, to get to give people actual free speech.
Yeah.
It's pretty much decentralized podcast host. We have a few hundred followers there already, but I would, if you wouldn't mind, people, follow me there. If you follow me on Spotify, follow me on there as well. I know it's a pain in the ass to add another platform, whatever, and you may not even use it, but it's just insurance policies. And as far as video platforms, Odyssey's where to find me if I get removed anywhere else. Unfortunately, Odyssey doesn't really it's not a really poppin' place. I do live streams and we get 7 people, 10 people when on a good day. It's not a very, very active place. So I don't know. It's just one of those things, those measures. If you really do enjoy the content, follow me on those alternative places, even if you don't use them, just to have them as an insurance type of deal. Because at any moment, if you're following, for example, 7 on YouTube right now, he may not be on YouTube tomorrow or in 2 weeks. So you need to find, if you love 7C's work, you need to actively find all these other avenues in case either of us get shut down or both of us get shut down. We're still going to be around, but I guess what I'm trying to say is follow those more decentralized platforms.
Absolutely. I even I'm contemplating getting like a PO box so that I can like connect with my community as physically as I possibly can with the distance and stuff, and possibly doing something where like we do a book circle, where it's like people send me books they want me to read, and then I try to send them out to like somebody else in my community or something like that. And that way it's like we can still all keep in communication. It's non-digital, which I'm like a huge fan of. And if I always need more books to put off reading now. But I think it's a great way to get like media they can't censor out to people that need to see it and stuff like that, and like circumvent this ever creeping fucking technocracy, man. It's insane.
Yeah, 100%. So we are going to talk about nukes and such, but these are important things because, like I said, nothing's guaranteed, and at any time we can get removed if you're following us on any of these big platforms. So nukes, let's play a little bit of a video that we played on a earlier show. I can't even remember what show it was on. We've done several shows at this point in time.
Yeah.
But let's get a little taste of this one here. This is supposedly real footage of a atomic bomb happening, and yeah, we're gonna play the documentary of this where this footage came from. But this is real footage, and just like the Trump assassination or whatever, when someone, especially a mainstream source, tells me this is real, you have to believe it. Or the moon landings.
Mm-hmm.
No, fuck that. I'll make the decision if this shit looks real or not.
Yeah.
So watch this, and then you guys come to your own decision. This is... Oh my god, dude. That was so ridiculous. They didn't even show any damage. Just some fucking smoke. That looks like toothpicks.
Yep.
Enough. So if you want to find that, just put in on YouTube nuke test video, I believe is what I put in. And all that footage comes from this official documentary. It's a video from 1955.
Oh wow. It and you know, the one thing that I always get hung up on, right, is like, okay, nukes happened, you know, over 80 years ago, basically at this point. And I still think that it's important to sort of prove these things because that, you know, we're talking about like the same American government with the same Department of Defense, with the same sort of policies and rank and file and stuff that you know, comes with doing this, and the being able to expose that it's not only a lie, but they did actually still kill a bunch of people in order to push a narrative, and you put that together with things like 9/11 and all of these you know, different events and stuff. I feel like it needs to prove a pattern that these people are willing to sink as low as possible and come up with the most fantastical stuff just to push their agenda. And that even is true for things like the technocracy and biodigital convergence and stuff like that. And that's why I wish people would be more willing to suspend their disbelief that their government is capable of stuff like this.
Yeah, that's a goal that we both share, is trying to... This is what I guess you can coin as waking up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The reason we harp on a lot of these things as being fake, like whether it's a Trump assassination attempt, 9/11, all staged events. Some people died more in other events than others. I mean, no two events are the same, so they're going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But what they have in common is that they're staged and planned.
Yeah.
Other words, fake. Fake doesn't mean that, you know, like, there's different versions of fake.
Yeah.
And so I think where we come at it with, in terms of fake, is it's that it's a scripted affair. You know what I'm saying? It's not organic, if you will.
Yeah. And there's it comes with a narrative, and I think that's like the most important part, where it's like you have something like the moon landing that was like completely fake from front to back, but then you have this where it's like the narrative was faked, but a lot of people did actually die. You know, it's like the explosions happened, but the way that they were told to us and what they were and the reasons why and how, I think were the reason that they wanted to push this. Because, you know, it like nukes came into the conversation right as like there started to become a decline in like religious beliefs, and people were starting to gravitate more towards like science, and they needed a way to scare people, like eternally. And what better way than to say that, they can create a lifelong nuclear wasteland anywhere in the world, and it'll be that way basically your entire life.
Yeah, this constant fear porn,
Yeah.
you're which is crazy, man. I don't know if I've ever asked you this or not, but have you ever read Orwell's 1984?
Yeah.
When you go back to reading that book, they're always scared that they're gonna get fucking bombed and nuked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fucking pros running around, they even got fucking alarms. And when you read between the lines, the alarms are just to keep everyone in fucking constant fear, man.
Yeah.
Be scared. What happened after 9/11? We got a code yellow.
Yep.
Oh shit. Watch out. If you go out tomorrow, it's a code orange.
Yeah.
the fucking terror levels, man. And so this goes along those same lines, man. This whole fear porn regarding nukes. God damn, dude. At any minute, President Trump can hit that red button and blow the world into smithereens. Oh shit, Vladimir Putin is over there scheming. He's going to hit the red button. And it's just like this cartoonish fucking thing where it's just this giant red button, in some fucking Homer Simpson power plant ready to blow up the world.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
So what I think is crazy is, they use like the nuke narrative basically ever since then, like with the Cold War, and that's the reason that we allegedly got into Iraq, which I think we all know is bullshit. And even the Iran stuff that was happening, where they're, basically Trump is saying we have to bomb Iran because they can't have nukes, and it's just interesting to see that because they'll allow military contractors to create all sorts of types of bombs and sell them to any country that they want. And there's like, they don't have allegiances to the United States specifically, like, and they're allowing like these companies to operate with these weapons. Meanwhile, they're worried about some other country that's got it bound by laws and, treaties and regulations and stuff that I feel like is probably more regulated than an arms manufacturer. And that's their main concern. And it's always this thing of, if, nukes actually ever did fall into the wrong hands at any point in the last 80 years, like with instances like Iran-Contra, for example, where it's like, they're gun running directly to terrorists, and none of them have just launched one on another country or used it on a populace before.
Yeah, 100%. And that kind of reminds me, I'm going to give a shout out to a good homie of ours, a mutual homie, American Exile. And I asked him for some thoughts on nukes. And I don't think I probably should have asked him this, but let's see. Yeah, I think he'll be fine me reading this. I just gave it a little glance over, but this is what American Exile, shout out to him, told me about nukes. And he's former military. You know what I mean? Yeah. He spent like fucking 2 decades. He knows what he's talking about. He said, just some notes from the field. I was in a nuclear warhead detachment for a few months. 8-inch and 155 millimeter artillery shells in Germany in 1990. Now that you got me thinking about the nukes, I believe you are onto something. Why? Are you talking, or let's see, why are you talking to me after all these wars we have had since World War II, the slaughter, the genocides, that humanity just somehow managed not to pop one of these things off? Not one? No fucking way. So that kind of goes in line with what you just said right now.
Yeah, and he was in the military for a long time, and he's kind of like become a whistleblower on a lot of those things.
Yeah.
And, so he's not like speaking, out of his ass, right? Like he was there.
I did a show with him. Yeah, I did a show with him, and I think Proof was in the live chat earlier. Proof was also military,
Yeah.
and we did it for, I think, Memorial Day. We did the show a couple months back. It was a great episode, man. Two dudes that had spent decades in the military who are now anti-war,
Yeah.
and to get their perspective, how they were conditioned, what their thoughts process was while being in the military, and what their thought process is now as someone that's outside that has been on the inside and now whistleblowing on the whole apparatus. So shout out to my boy Proof and American Exile, man. That was a great episode. But yeah, man, it's that's really what it is. It's the business of producing fear